Welcome to Stream of Guard Consciousness. I believe this is episode number 32. Today, we are joined by a very special guest, Marty Klotz, longtime friend of Greg and myself, and a great contributor to our Facebook page. And really excited to have him. And as always, my partner Greg's with us up there in the Panhandle. How you doing today, Greg?
I'm doing great, Mark. I'm doing great. Just went and picked up our daughter at the airport yesterday, so everybody's over the moon with that. Got my tiki behind me. My good luck tiki. We play the Jets today. Got them at Hard Rock, and I'm hoping we can destroy them and kind of get back on track. And other than that, just looking forward to Christmas. And I see you've got some decorations in the back there, and I'm excited. The holiday season's here, and I'm really feeling it. Christmas music and all that. So it's been great. And yeah. Other than that, and Marty, welcome to the show. So, you and I have talked a lot, so what's going on with you? How are you today?
I'm doing great. I'm at least a 2-hour difference. I'm over in Colorado, hence I'm flying the flannel. And, it's a little chilly over here. I'm sure you guys are in your shorts or whatever in Florida, but, yeah. It's a little cold, little snow on the ground, not enough for us over here up in the mountains. I work at a ski resort, so that's what we kind of work for. But anyway, it's great. I'm really glad to be here with you guys. I mean, I've been a follower since day one, and I think you guys do a fantastic job. And it's kind of a fun and non-pretentious show, and I dig that. So thank you so much for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And I appreciate you saying that. We're coming up on a year anniversary of doing this here. I think December 29th was our first show. And the difference between then and now is striking. And that's one thing that we've always tried to do, I think, Mark, and you might agree with me here, is just kind of keep it real, keep it flowing. And just talk about whatever, and not really, we haven't been super controversial, but not pulling punches when the time is right either. So we appreciate you listening, man. And we'll get into some of your stories here in a little bit. Mark, tell me a little bit more about what's going on with you. How have you been? I haven't really talked to you a whole lot the last couple of weeks. How have you been? What's going on?
Oh, I've been good. I've been busy at school. We got a lot of people out, got some different things going on. So Mr. Ford is suddenly become more and more important at school. I'm taking on some different things. Yeah. So I've been working till 5:30 every night covering for this, that, and the other thing. So it's been doing good. Had my first graduate this week. Actually, two graduates. Kids have been with me for a while, so that was really exciting. So I'm really fired up about that. And things have been going really good. The soccer team's doing well at high school. Coach Chris, Mrs. Ford has her Tohopa-Calaga Tigers at 9-3 and just stopping people. So it's really fun. Let's see, the Unity FC soccer team, our professional team, we're kicking off in January with our try-ins because we don't cut people. So yeah, things are really busy. That's why I've been kind of laying low.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, Marty, I want to segue into you, and we talked a little bit. We can get to cards of the week here in a little while. I just kind of want to hear your story. Mark and I kind of in our first show really went over it, and I'll expound a little bit. I'm sure Mark's got some more stuff to go over. But how old were you when you started collecting? What got you into it? What memories do you have? Just things like that. I think people like to hear that sometimes. So let's hear your collecting journey, Marty.
Yeah, well, I can probably go on for hours about it, really, and I don't want to do that. But I did pick out a few little vignettes of some stories that I have. But the way I think of it is, anybody that's in these groups or any of our hobby friends or whatever, they didn't start at 40. Right. You don't wake up and go, I'm going to start collecting. And even if you do start at 40, there's probably something there in the background that kind of like sparks something for you, and you decide that you're going to go out and venture into collecting. And so I just had a couple little fun little bits that I wanted to share. And this goes back to 1971, and my parents came back from the store or wherever, and they handed me a pack of 1971 football cards. And that was
great. Those are
yeah,
great.
those are the like the beautiful,
Yeah.
there's my Lions, Alex Karras, Emerson Boozer. I remember a cool TV or a commercial he did for Ovaltine back in the day.
Yeah.
And and then the All Pro with the two colors right there. But anyway, I remember opening the pack. I was out. It was in the fall. It was cold. I remember the details, everything. It's cold, kind of chilly, overcast, Michigan. That's where I'm from. Day, and I opened the pack, and all those colors pop out. And it's amazing. It's like Christmas for me. My parents never ever bought me anything outside of birthday and Christmas. So it was kind of rare. And get done, and I see these kids older boys playing across the street. And I'm thinking I am on top of the world. I am the coolest. I'm going to go show these big guys I'm one of them. And I'll go over there and show them my cards. I'm so proud and everything. And they go, "Hey, kid, you want to flip for those?"
Flipping,
like,
yes.
Oh, I get to flip for these. Back in the day, that was a thing. You flip for cards. And so eloquently stated. I said I'd have props. Stated in this book.
Yeah,
great book.
Freaking classic, man. I have the book with the dust
That's
jacket.
Greg, I think it was like Greg's birthday or something. I sent him that.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about that.
You know what? I noticed flipping through this, no pun intended, yesterday. Very first page, Mark. There's your boy.
No,
right
Luke.
there.
Yeah, it's the 52. That's amazing.
Anyway, I digress. But so I go over there, and they want to flip for my cards, and they did. And of course, where this is going. They took all my cards.
Yeah.
And as a 7-year-old boy who was on top of the world, at one point, I went from up here to down here in 2 seconds, and ran across the street crying to my dad. And he marched over there and gave them some
boy.
and I ended up getting the cards back, I think, and even then some. So that was my first
that's always the great equalizer when you have a conflict like that as a kid, and bigger kids take all your stuff. We had some Matchbox car incidents like that where I was the taker, and we ended up with about I wasn't proud of it, but end of the day, he ended up with half our cars. So
yeah, that's great. Dads, it's awesome down memory lane with dads.
Yeah,
my dad was the same way. He would always stand up for me. And I remember one time I played hockey, and these kids would give me a hard time during a hockey game because I was very flamboyant, and I hadn't matured to where now I'm all about this. But back then, I was, 19, number 19, I'm the man, So I'm playing hockey, and I had a score, fight, hit. I was the package, not to brag. But anyway, so these kids in high school are giving me a hard time. I was like, I don't know, 15, 16, and they were like seniors, and they're giving me a hard time the whole game. So then we're coming off the rink, and I'd had it. So I'm leaving the rink, and I charge after these three guys, So I'm like, I'm going to take these guys on. They're going to kill me anyways, but who cares? And like all of a sudden I was like weightless. Like I was doing this, and my feet were doing this, but I was up in the air because my dad had me like by my neck, and I'm like, let me at him. So dad like deposits me behind him, and he tells these kids, look, man, if you ever give my son a hard time, I'm gonna put a certain part of your anatomy down your throat, And they didn't really appreciate that, and they said, "F you, old man." And my dad said, "Oh, old man." So, and he picked up like two of them. Like these kids are football players. So, and my dad was like 6'4", like 242. He's a monster, man, gentle giant. This is like the first time something like got these guys up in here, right? So all the way home, I'm going, Dad, Jesus, blah, 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 they're gonna beat the shit out of me. Why'd you do that, Dad? Oh my God, this is the worst day ever. He's just like, shut up. So I go to school on Monday. Mark, what can we get for you? Do you need anything? So it's like, I get you, Marty. That's a great story. It just triggered that memory with me, not to veer off subject. So,
No,
but
that's
that,
great.
I can see your dad. I can see it because when you're telling that story, I'm like, yep, I can see it. Come here. You give my kid his cards back, and while you're at it, you're gonna give him a couple more. It's great.
That is cool. I unfortunately I didn't have a father growing up like that. My dad passed when I was very little, but my mom was the enforcer. So she held her own. I'll tell you that much. So Marty, that's very cool. So what after the incident with the kids, that just kind of set you down the road. You get back on where your journey takes you after that.
Kind of obsessed when I was even that little, and and then the next, what would have been the next summer, I had some buddies down the street that are a little older than me, and they wanted to go to the store. And I lived in a sprawling suburb where we didn't have a corner store or anything like that, so we had to ride our bikes quite a ways. I had a beautiful cobalt blue Schwinn banana seat, black banana bike. It was killer. And so my mom actually allowed me to go, and she ended up giving me a dime so I can go to the store, a dime. And that was enough, for me. My friends probably had $1 or something like that. And so of course, what do I buy? I buy a pack of baseball cards. That would have been 1972. So that's the first pack I bought. And the only card I really remember opening, so I can pinpoint the series and everything, was this little guy. Wilbur Wood, Boyhood Photo of the Stars. Nice. So it would have been the third series. This one stuck out for me, little kid, just like me at the time. So I bought that. So that was cool. This was the one I just thought of recently that I never even really occurred to me. And this is an interesting one because it's not really cards, I guess, but I grew up Catholic, and so I had a godfather, and he lived down the street from me, and he was always great, did a lot of stuff, and always had the coolest gifts for me and everything. And he started collecting. This was 1972. He started collecting those Sunoco stamps. You know what those are?
Yeah, the football stamps.
Yeah, and he started collecting those, and he would give me. He had the album and everything, and he was trying to get all of them. And he would give me all the doubles, and so I got my own album to put them in. You stick them in there and everything. I have it somewhere. I don't even know. I still have it. And he started giving me all those stamps, and he they're kind of like this, for those who don't know. This is an actual booklet that haven't been unperforated. It's kind of and then they were in these booklets like this that were, these are unopened ones here.
Wow. Those are cool. I've got a few of those myself. I've got some bills actually that I need to dig out for Mark.
Yeah, right on.
Here's one they had pictures here's the one with the dolphins.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
Glory days.
Greg, by the way, off the record, did you get that mountain that I sent?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Right?
Yes, I did. I did. I think day before yesterday, man. I've been.
No, you're busy. I was just thinking about it. I just want to make sure you got it.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
So watching my godfather put this together and getting all of the stamps, it made me think. And I thought about this a few weeks ago. I'm like, that's probably why I'm a set collector.
Mm-hmm.
I realized if you can't just get one, you have to get them all.
Right. God bless you, Marty.
added just a handful. I mean, that's me. I know that's Mark. That's not your bag at
No,
all.
no, I'm not. You guys, God bless you too for your patience.
Are definitely are set chasers and all that kind of thing, and that's kind of like I think that's where it started.
And that was going to be one of the questions I asked you, Marty, because you have always been somebody that I've talked to. You know, your time difference from me, even, you know, just out of the blue on a Tuesday night at 10 o'clock, you'll text something, or 11 o'clock, and we'll start going down and digging deep into 73s and 72s. And that's always been, I've always enjoyed having those conversations with you about sets, because you're right. I mean, Mark, I know that's not your thing, and it's not a lot of people's things, honestly, but it's my thing. And I can remember, you know, being 12, 13 years old and needing 3 cards and just not, you know, my friends would have it and they'd want like 50 cards in return because they knew I wanted it, you know. So it's, to be able to do that now is very cool. And I appreciate, you know, the joy that you get out of that, because I can relate completely. So that's very cool to talk to you about that. I hope we can continue that, man. That wanted me to segue into that. There was a question that I had for you, and it's slipping my mind right now. So I'll let you expound on your Sunoco stamps. And I guess I was going to ask you not to, because you're right. We really could talk about this for hours. So I don't want to do that necessarily, but I guess we all had a gap in our collecting. And so, you know, maybe veer off into that, you know, as you travel down your journey, because I'm always interested to hear what brought people back too. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't think I ever had like some serious major gap, but if I did have one, you know, I probably, you know, I was pretty much into it as a, you know, a teen, up until like 1980 or so. And then, you know, a couple things happened. You know, when 1981 rolled around, you had 3 different sets, which confused everything, for at least in baseball. You know, it just confused me. And then basketball was weird, you know, with those perforated cards, and hockey was weird with a scratch off set. And it was just like, I'm kind of done. Plus, you know, there was rock and roll and there was girls and all that kind of stuff. And I think
my exit. Yep.
And changed just a little bit, you know, and
exit stage left.
Yeah. You know, for me, you know, like 1984 was kind of a big year because, you know, that was when my Tigers won the World Series and they were doing great. So I figured, you know, I'm going to get all the sets for that. And, you know, and then after that, I kind of just dropped out somewhat. You know, I was kind of into it, but not really. You know, vintage was kind of always in the picture. I mean, I went to card shows when I was like 1978. My first card show I went to, I completed my 1973 set by buying a my rookie card for 25 cents.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was cool. Yeah, rookie cards weren't a big deal then. But you know, and then it just kind of the cards were just kind of meh for me, you know, mostly in the late 80s and then all the way through the 90s. And then, you know, early 2000s, I got back into it when Heritage came out, you know, and that kind of piqued my interest a little bit because it was a vintage style, you know, and I really liked that. So I was kind of into that for a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, financial stuff happens and you just kind of, I think I told you, Greg, you know, I used cards and I just sold off a ton and kind of got back into it in recent years. I'm not a baller, you know, I just buy what I like now. You know, I just like to, you know, you don't see me buying a lot here. You don't see me selling a lot, but a little more selling lately, but yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
Marty,
go ahead, Mark.
That's a good point about like collecting. I was joking around with Greg the other day. It says the guy that has a sports card podcast, and you know, I'm really not into sports, to be honest with you. I love the Bills, and you know, I like to go, but as far as like planting my ass in front of the TV all day and I'm just not into it. I mean, like, no, if I have an opportunity to go to like a Notre Dame game, I'm there. I love the Bills. I watch the Bills, but so it's for me, I hear what you're saying. It's very kind of specific, and it's easier for us to walk down memory lane, so to speak, because we're not all clouded up with everything that's happening today and the instantaneous nature of everything. So yeah, it's kind of funny. I really don't. I love to read. I love literature and music, and those are my passions. We've all discussed, I've talked to Marty and Greg about it. My real passion is literature and music now. And sports are like way in the rearview mirror, but I like the community and what we do. So
Yeah, absolutely. I'm the same way, Mark. I buy and sell, I think probably more than both of y'all, but at the same time, I'm not as big into sports as I used to be. My Red Sox, it hasn't been the same for me since they won. Really, I mean, I used to get the extra innings thing and watch all the games, and I'll watch the Dolphins. I'm really big into them. It's once a week. It's not an everyday investment.
yeah.
So and it's 5-6 months out of the year. So other than that, I'm the same. I enjoy the cards. I think the biggest thing for me with the cards nowadays is this is all stuff that I had no shot at getting when I was a kid. I just couldn't afford them.
Yeah.
And you didn't really see them a whole lot. The internet wasn't there. Some kid's dad would have a collection, and you'd hear about like a 67 Pete Rose and be like, oh my God, this he's got a 67 Pete Rose. That's like, something like that. So, I mean, that's the big draw for me, I think, is just that it's stuff that I just couldn't touch when I was a young one. So that's cool for me. And I had my big gap. Mark, you had the gap. Marty, it sounds like you kind of always just kind of were on the periphery maybe a little bit with it. And that's cool. I enjoy talking to people like that too, because there's a big part of that I missed. From 1993 basically to 2019, I just wiped them from my brain. So seeing that and hearing people talk about, like when Heritage came out and things like that, I think is very cool. So it's let's hear some more. Let's see. You got some more stories? What's going on?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
No, not really. I think I'm good. I think you're just one little quick thing that Mark was talking about literature and all that, but this guy
irony
sent me this. I just noticed it in the background of one of his pictures of his class, and he's like, "It's yours, pal." And sent me, which I think is great. The Long Season by Jim Brosnan. I've yet to really crack this open, but I will definitely. So thank you. Kudos to you.
Oh, absolutely, Marty. That's it's ironic, you've been there for me, man. I mean, I'm not ashamed to say I had a rough road, a few months ago. A lot of things happened, and just the conversations we had. Hey, stay in there, and I mean, that's room 6 history, man. I mean, I knew you'd appreciate it, and I wanted you to have it because all the struggles and things have gone on in that room. There's a piece of that, and it's so funny because look what I got right here. I got that first edition because I was going to talk about that a little bit. So again, that's what we're talking about. You can't put a price tag on what the connection me and Marty have. You can't put a connection on this, or you can't put a price tag on it. It's the connection that we have. You can't put a price tag on it. This is priceless and valuable, and that is what's more important than how much it costs or what's it worth. I mean, the worst thing somebody can ever ask is, "Oh, what's that worth? How much is that?" Who cares, because there's a price tag that's way more valuable and it's what's in here. So that's great. Yeah, I'm glad you got that, and you'll love the book. It's a great book.
That's great. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Again.
You're moving. He's mobile.
Yeah, I DoorDash something and they're calling me now. So it's like,
this is great.
They can't find me.
We are live, and this is a stream, no doubt. That's funny.
I love it.
Mark,
it's great.
You have any cards of the week, Mark? What?
Yeah, I just got a couple. Just to walk down, we're kind of talking about childhood memories, and then one current one. One card. I'm sending this off to Clarence Scott tomorrow for Christmas. It's my buddy Clarence. It's PSA 6, whatever, big deal. But I'm sending that to Clarence for Christmas, and Merry Christmas, Clarence Scott. I love you. And, the rides home on Wednesday when you call me brother. And, we talk about everything but football. And, so I'm going to send that up to Clarence. And then talk about being kids. I have a few cards that I had since I was a kid. And again, people that see the show know how much I love Hank Aaron. And so I got the 72 Hank Aaron. I've had that since I was a little kid.
That's a beautiful card.
I got it in the late 70s, and it's not for sale. It's I'll have it forever. It's beautiful. I've kept that thing safe and sound. And the other Hank Aaron, I've had this since I was a little kid, is the I'm trying to get the glare, the World Series Thrills card.
I love that.
Yeah,
I
got
love
that.
baseball thrills.
Yeah, I got that when I was like 7 or 8. I've had that forever. I've had that for like, over 40 years. And then the 58 Calavito.
Yeah, it kept bringing me 49 for some reason.
Okay.
All right, check it
I
out.
don't know.
Yeah, get your food.
Oh,
Hold on.
sorry. Hi.
It's all right. It's cool. We're gonna let it roll. Tell her you're famous. You're doing the show.
That's
Hey, so
right.
what did
Yeah,
you
I'm
get,
in
man?
live.
You have to let us know
Awesome.
what you got, Marty.
What's that?
What you
What'd
got
you
to
get?
eat? Yeah, we're
Oh,
hungry.
you don't want to know.
All right. Okay. So back to Rocky Calavito. So and
My
then,
kids.
you can see the autograph there. It's kind of faint now, but Rocky Calavito signed this for me in
Hold it down a little bit, Mark.
1984. You
Nice.
see the auto there in the pen?
Yes.
1984, Rocky Calavito signed that for me.
Wow.
And
Wow.
yeah, so I've had that. Those are kid cards I've had since I was a kid. And then around with the story with my dad about me playing hockey, my favorite player was this freaking goon called Bob Halkitis. And he came up in the 83 playoffs against Quebec, and he fought 3 times. His first game in the National Hockey League is in the playoffs. And this kid took on all comers for Quebec, name by name. Nobody's even probably gonna know who he is. But I didn't get this when I was a kid. But again, that connection to childhood, and as we get older, and how Greg said, cards you never dreamed of having. Well, that kid's name, and I wore that number, and it's up. You'll see the number 19 in my room in the pictures, right? 19. Bob
Yes.
Halkitis. So that's a Bob Halkitis on Band-Aid autograph. So
Well, he looks like a goon. Look at him.
Bobby Halkitis come up. He fought all comers. He wore number 19, and I was just a young kid. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna be like Bob Halkitis. I'm gonna fight everybody that comes my way, and I'm gonna fight till I die. So I love Bobby Halkitis, and that's why I wear number 19. And I got an on Band-Aid autograph. So what else
Nice.
can you ask for?
On Band-Aid, no less. That's great.
Yeah, on Band-Aid. I think I might have showed that before, but it's just a little deeper story to why I love Bob Halkitis. So
I don't think you have. That's a new one. That's a show.
on
show,
Band-Aid autograph.
exclusive.
This is the
Yeah.
Enforcer series.
That's
So,
cool.
yeah, now they don't really fight like they used to in hockey. So, yeah, it paid it was only a couple bucks, but they're fun. Again,
Yeah.
it's fun. Who cares what it costs? It's fun.
Right. Marty, did you and those are awesome, Marty, did you have anything other than the ones you've shown already that you wanted to show this week?
I haven't been really much of a big buyer, but just some things like somewhat recently that I got is this 61 Ernie Banks.
Yes.
Slightly off center. Not one of his best cards, I think. Like Willie Mays from this set, not a good card for him.
Yeah.
Just with the hatless kind of deal. But I needed this. I'm like about 450 cards on this set, so that was a good one. What else do I have here that's worthwhile? I think you saw it, Greg. I posted on I think the 70 to 74, just to ask a question. I'd like to see some off-centered 1973 cards.
Yeah. Oh, those are tough to find.
Going and all that. I'm pretty obsessed with 1973. It's not everyone's favorite set, but I always remember some of those cards being pretty awful. I did buy a few of them off some people, like this one here, which I thought kind of cool. I just love that. I don't know why. It's just kind of fascinating. And this one happened to be in it. And I think you can kind of put these together.
Oh, yeah.
There's Rick Auerbach and Dan Monzon or Monzon, whatever.
Yeah.
Speaking of Hank Aaron, one of the guys offered this up for $10 shipped, and I thought that was kind of a deal. It was this, not completely severely off-centered, but Hank Aaron.
Yeah.
Right.
I kind of dig it. It's in really good shape, except for the fact that it's, throws everyone OCD off a little bit. But yeah, there's that. And then Greg, you'd be happy to know I picked up a few high numbers.
Yes.
I got about 11 of them in the last couple weeks. So I'm down under 30 now to go.
Are you really?
Yeah. So
all right. Well, we're gonna have to get together, and you're gonna have to send me a couple of 61 and 72 lists and if you need 71s, I'm your guy.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. So we'll get together after the show, and you can send me what you need, man.
And since Mark's on the non-sport thing, I here's one I got here, this wacky package.
Oh,
card. Tommy. It says extra strong Kami cleanser gets rid of reds, pinkos, hippies, yippies, and flippies. So I have a bunch of wacky packages. This isn't the first series, but it's by like the third or fourth or something like that.
Can you imagine them? Can you imagine them trying to release that today in this day and age?
Oh,
well, those are cool. What else you got, Marty?
That's about it.
Okay.
I noticed though this Sunoco stamp, getting back to it, it's a little bit torn. You want me to open it?
Sure.
Let's do it. These aren't very rare, by the way. These are any of these stamps you can get for like cheap. So, but they're kind of cool. I was kind of dug them. Yeah, you have to perforate them here. There we are.
Oh, so this is like you're ripping a pack right here.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Maybe we'll get a stop on it.
I have a bunch of them that are unopened, but this is pretty cool. So here it is. It's boom, boom, boom. Let's see what we got. I got a Bills.
JD Hill?
Yeah.
Right, who knows it's Bills, right? I just call that or what? JD Hill. Right?
Yeah, that's cool.
What do you
so,
no,
not outrageously great, but some decent ones.
Right.
Kind of fun. I love these.
Cool. Those are cool. I've never seen that's like definitely a show first, a 1972 anything being just ripped live. So very cool. Yeah. Very cool. My cards of the week, I'm ramping my OPC stuff back up, and I got these from a seller by the name of Lee Park, and he runs sales pretty often on the page, and you can find some deals in his sales. Got this one, a 70 Tom Seaver OPC card. It's not in the best shape. It's not really, I mean, it's got some mark. It's got a mark on the front and some wrinkles and stuff. But I got that for like $8. And then a Bob Gritch, who I think really probably may end up in the Hall of Fame someday. Got his rookie card OPC 1971.
71.
Yeah. The 71s are cool. The backs just are amazing. It's completely different than the other set. So that's a Gritch rookie OPC, which I got for like $4. And then these two, just I was thumbing through, and I got this. It's an Anthony Hardaway 1993 insert. My story was 1990. I was out of cards. And then 1993, I got back in with the Magic. They had Shaq and Penny. So I was really, really basically in love with the Magic at that point. So that card's cool. It's a rookie insert. And then this is a Ken Griffey Jr. It's a 92. I didn't really even see these until about 6 months ago. But I think these Provision cards are very cool. So those are really the ones that kind of hit me this week.
I've seen those.
Yeah, it's a 92 Fleer. You got Nolan Ryan's in that set, Ken Griffey, a couple other guys. they're just cool. You know, they're not worth a whole lot, but I think they're just neat. Yeah. So other than that, I mean, any shout outs this week, Mark? Do you have anybody that you want to recognize? Anything else you want to talk about? The waffle stomping, or you want to get into that?
I want to thank Chris Frank for sending me an awesome Christmas present, a Star Wars book. And I want to thank Dominic Miller for sending me some unopened packs for Christmas as well. So that was really great. Shout out to Dom and Chris. And then briefly, OPG Star Wars while we're on sports. So I got some OPG Star Wars graded. So shout out to Darth Vader and Star Wars for keeping me sane. And thank you, Marty, for coming on.
Absolutely.
You're I really appreciate all the conversation and support. And when I wrap it up this year, I'll probably send you a whole pile of stuff from room 6, because you've been for real. You've been very kind and very supportive, and somehow those texts will hit me at the right time, so I really appreciate it. And you've been great on the show too. It's been amazing.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate being here. And, hopefully this continues on. I know you guys had a little bit of a hiccup, with things, and I was just really rooting for both of you guys to pull through and keep it going. And so far it's great. And I'm glad that things are rolling on. And, last thing for me is hope you both have a great holiday and a happy new year. And I'm looking forward to 24. And I'm really rooting for your football teams. And I'm sure you're rooting for mine as well, the Lions.
Yeah, I am.
All three.
Me too.
Have something going on here this season, and the best to you for that as well. and
yeah,
that tiki, man.
It's funny that you say that, but the Lions have always. I have a really good friend who's a huge Lions fan, and he got me kind of hooked by proxy, I think, on Detroit. So seeing them do well is always nice. It's always cool. Now Miami plays Detroit in the Super Bowl, I'm going to have an issue, but anything other than that, Detroit all the way. So I've got a second team to jump onto if Miami falters. So, and then Mark, we talked before the show. I don't wish bad things on Buffalo. I know a lot of my contemporary Dolphins fans do, but I'm older and I can remember when Buffalo wasn't really very good. So
no kidding. We had a good stretch. We went 0 for the 70s, and with you guys, we went 0 for the 90s and the 2000s, pretty much with the Patriots. So
right,
it's and I know Bills fans can be obnoxious, and I know that I'm not one of those. I'm very pragmatic and level-headed, and cheer for who you want. It's America, God bless. But everybody's meant to be different, and I embrace that. I've defended you, right? Some of my friends have come at you, and I've been like,
yeah,
nope,
you have.
No, I don't want to hear it. So I embrace that. I want people to be different. Cheer for you. You love the Dolphins? Yes, it's good. Marty loves the Lions. Yes, I love the Bills. It's a good thing. It's like, we're not all supposed to be the same, because then life would be boring.
Right, absolutely. And like Marty said too a minute ago, I wish both of y'all really, really a great holiday. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. Kwanzaa. Great New Year, Kwanzaa, any of those. Have a great New Year. And Mark, I'm going to be down there right after Christmas, man. Let's try to meet up.
Definitely.
I'll come to you. Maybe we go have a beer or something.
Oh yeah,
I've got some stuff for you. So, all right.
Yeah, we'll get together. I'm off for 2 weeks. So I just got to make it through this week. I got to make it 5 more days, and life will be good for a few weeks. So,
right on. Well, I'll reach out when I get down there. It's going to be like the 26th or the 27th.
All right. Let me know. Awesome.
Okay. Marty, appreciate you coming on the show.
Yes. Again, thank you so much. This is a blast. I loved it.
Well, cool. Thanks. Yeah. Thank you for being supportive and the nice words you said about us. So, I don't have anything else. Anybody else got anything before we sign off?
Just say goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.